What's going on, guys? Happy Monday. It's Mr. DEBT Joe Lorick from the Money Etiquette Group. And wow, we got a lesson on personal finance and economics this weekend via R. Kelly. Mr. Robert Kelly didn't have enough funds because of back child support and hanger owners, as they call them, and people just making money from him in lawsuits. Mr. Robert Kelly doesn't have enough money to bail himself out. He would need $100,000. 10% of 1 million. Now, to put things in context, if you don't know the numbers, Mr. Kelly has sold over 50 or 60 million albums over his career and over 15 million singles. If you sell, you're the artist, you create content that sells 60 million of your own content, not even just including those who you wrote for, and 15 million singles, you will wonder what happened. Because, even if he got, $3 for every album, just think about that for a minute. $3 for every album. If he sold 60 million, we're talking $180 million just off the albums. For the singles, if you did the same thing, if it was $3 for every single that he sold, and he sold 15 million, it's insane. When you really think about that, 45 million, that is insane. But we don't even know if Mr. Kelly was getting that much from his album proceeds. We don't know. But it does point to the music industry, because what we do know and has been put out there is that Mr. Kelly doesn't have a lot of ownership of his own creation in music. Now, just think about this for a second and the irony of this. Just a few weeks ago, when the documentary came out about R. Kelly, CNN, Yahoo, MSNBC, CNBC, everyone was speaking about Jada Pinkett. Everyone was speaking about how R. Kelly's streams had spiked 5 and 10-year highs. Now think about that for a second, and think about what Jay-Z recently said in one of his lines. He said, "I don't have 1 billion streams, but I got $1 billion." And maybe that goes back to, again, if you're not able to read and you're not very financially literate, or just, literate period, you have to pay a lot of people to read things for you. You have to pay a lot of people to take care of finances for you. I think what this is the biggest example of is not how Robert Kelly, R. Kelly, mismanaged his money. Rather, ignorance created a mismanagement of money, because he has to pay a lot of people to take care of his affairs. His wife described it. She said someone has to book his flight tickets for him, this and that. So many people have to do things for him. That means that he pays a lot of people. So being financially illiterate will cost you millions, even if you make millions. That's the point that I've been putting out there to the normal person. Okay, that's on a large scale. Because even if he can't post bail, that doesn't mean that R. Kelly is broke, okay? In terms of like regular people standards. That doesn't mean that R. Kelly is broke. What it means is that there's a mismanagement and mishandling of money, or his lifestyle costs are just extreme because, again, sex slavery, keeping, women in every city, being back on child support, making babies, paying some, not paying others. It's a costly lifestyle. But for us, on a smaller scale, this still happens to us. Okay? When we depend on bankers, when we depend on loan institutions to give us advice on what we should do when it comes to buying homes, purchasing cars, doing everything, if we're not financially literate, they're going to take advantage of us, because it's their job to do what's in their own best interest. They're going to please their investors. They're going to make sure that they're okay, not you're okay. They just want to get you approved for the loan. Schools, everything, this entire economy is based on debt. It's a debt culture. People need, the economy to function correctly needs a certain amount of people in debt. They need you to work a certain amount of years. This is what's happened to R. Kelly because of financial illiteracy. And this is what happens to us too. So while we probably are going to tease R. Kelly about this while we're gonna, and I'm not trying to create sympathy for R. Kelly at all. I mean, I have no sympathy for him whatsoever. Okay, I don't know the man. I don't know anyone personally who was abused by him. There are people that say they have been, so I expect them to handle it the way they need to handle it. But as for me, I don't know him. Okay, and certainly he's never touched me or mine. So I'm not going to just sit here and talk about him forever. But what I will say is that we have to look at ourselves in this moment and not look at R. Kelly and his mismanagement of money. Let's look at us and look at how much we mismanage. Yeah, we're not millionaires, most of us. Some of us are not 100,000aires, but some of us have 100,000 in debt. Some of us have tens of thousands of debt. Some of us really are struggling out here financially. So let's learn. Let's not tease R. Kelly. Let's learn from his situation. Remember to try to create something and retain ownership if you do create something business-wise. Remember to be financially literate so that you're not a slave to other people and institutions. You're not dependent on an army of people for taking care of your financial affairs. Do the research yourself. Google it. Read books. I have one. Other people have some. Invest in financial literacy. Invest in understanding your money. Because a lot of us are just like R. Kelly. We should have a lot more money than we do.